It's very early days on a Wonder Man show. Who? I'll tell you who. Who was just announced, this show was just announced in the trades. But I'm making a video because as soon as I saw that they were making this show and who was involved, I could instantly see it start to take shape in a very exciting way. So I wanted to discuss it with you. And I have a little tea. I hear that Wanda is very likely in the mix, as one would suspect if they know anything about Wonder Man. And then also, so that would be 2 spin-offs basically from WandaVision, Agatha Harkness and now Wonder Man. But anyway, that it's going to be very comedic like the She-Hulk show, which makes total sense with Simon Williams, who is a movie star. Oh, this is so great. All right, let's go. The first thing I thought when I saw this headline, though, was, with all due respect to Wonder Man, that this is being developed instead of second seasons of the already many great shows that Marvel has put on Disney Plus. Seems cuckoo bananas. Like, is Loki the only show getting a season 2? And is that because Tom Hiddleston has embraced being on streaming? Whereas I think a lot of other actors are like, okay, when do I go back to the movies? And some of them are. Wanda was in Doctor Strange, and Captain America is getting his own movie, Captain America 4, as we all know. Who knows when that's going to happen, but it's supposed to happen. Maybe the line's a little shorter to be on Disney Plus. It's interesting. All right, so anyway. But then I was like, the only potential excuse to make this show was that it would be a backdoor into WandaVision season 2. And then that's where this gets phenomenal, right? Because in the comics, WandaVision and Wonder Man, aka Simon Williams, are a love triangle. And as I said, Wanda is already in discussions to be a part of this show. I mean, they've just started. They've just signed the talent. They're just developing it. All right, so what happened in the comics? So Simon Williams' brainwaves are the template for Vision. That's where his brainwaves come from. That's the blueprint. And it's implied, the whole reason that Vision even likes Wanda in the comics is because Simon had feelings for her and never acted on them or wasn't even totally aware of them. But you know, Vision was like, hey, I like that lady. And you know why he liked her? Because Simon liked her. So when Simon sees Vision and Wanda together, he's like, oh man, that could have been me. And in some ways, it is me. So when Vision disappears, in the comics, Simon and Wanda got together. Simon Williams is one of Wanda's romantic interests in the comics. And at one point, Wanda even resurrected Simon in his ionic form, just as she does Vision in WandaVision. So that story point of Wanda resurrecting Vision in the MCU actually is Simon's story point from the comics. Also, speaking of White Vision, so White Vision happened right before Vision disappeared. He was like, I've lost all my emotion. I gotta go. And that's exactly what he did in the MCU. Now, before he went, Wanda had asked Simon to lend his brainwaves once again to put that personality back into Vision. And he refused because he had feelings at that point that he knew for Wanda. But then eventually he felt guilty and he said, all right, I'll do it. But White Vision was like, no, I can't take your personality again. I must find my own. And that's sure enough what Vision did. He went on a journey of self-exploration and to reconnect with humanity. Some other crazy stuff happened because it's comics. Alternate reality version of Vision with the red body. That's how he got back into a red body, etc., etc. But anyway, I mention that because I wouldn't be surprised if Vision doesn't show up here as well. All right, so first off, who's making the Wonder Man show? Well, it's Destin Daniel Cretton from Shang-Chi, but he's just executive producing and he'll probably direct 1 or 2 episodes. And if I were him, I'd want to be attached to a Wanda project too, because they just print money at this point. But he's teaming up with Andrew Guest, who is a producer and writer on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community, and will serve as head writer on this show. And as I said, this is supposed to be comedic, highly comedic, like the upcoming She-Hulk. But whereas that's the law, this is Hollywood. Simon Williams in the comics is a huge action star, and perhaps in the MCU, he uses his powers not to save the world, but to make himself famous. So you would have a situation here where the MCU goes to Hollywood and probably would become very meta. Will Simon Williams take a meeting with Kevin Feige? The possibilities are endless. In the comics, what's the origin of Simon Williams in the comics? I think it's a little bit messy. So he's actually the son of Stanford Williams, a very famous industrialist of Williams Innovations, who sure enough goes up against Stark Industries and can't compete. So Simon Williams actually embezzles some funds and ends up in jail, where he falls in with Baron Zemo and Enchantress, who want to infiltrate the Avengers. So Williams says, okay, give me powers. I'll go and pretend to be an Avenger and work for you. He eventually gets turned into a good guy, etc., etc. Too complicated. But maybe he could have an accident with Zemo. Maybe he crosses paths with Zemo in some way. Or maybe he gets superhero plastic surgery. Maybe he's an out-of-work actor, an actor who needs an angle, and he decides, what if I had real superpowers? Maybe that would save the studio some money and they would hire me. And that'll be an interesting exploration, a little bit like how She-Hulk isn't sure if she wants to be a superhero, as to, what Simon Williams is doing with his powers and if he should feel guilty that he's only using them selfishly. I'll tell you, he should feel guilty because, obviously this is a message we want to resonate with viewers. All right, so anyway, Simon Williams in the comics, so this is how the show would work. Simon Williams, just like in the comics, he's a big star out in LA. And maybe, just maybe, Wanda goes out there after what happened in Doctor Strange 2. Because she already spent a lot of time on the East Coast. I think it's time for some West Coast. So she goes there searching for Vision, let's say, White Vision, who's on that journey of self-discovery. And maybe he decides to explore humanity in Hollywood. They could come up with a great reason. Like maybe where can you experience more humanity and more emotion than in Hollywood? A lot of it very quickly, because so many different types of stories are being told. It would be a little bit like Barry, in fact. And I would not be surprised at all if the MCU tried to do its own version of Barry, because that's such a phenomenal show. And Vision would be the Barry in this, and I guess Wanda to some degree as well. Oh, that's fascinating. I'll tell you, writes itself. Andrew Guest got himself a great setup, I think, if he does it right. If he doesn't do this, he has a huge missed opportunity. So White Vision's out there, but he starts off the series emotionless, and Wanda's going after him, but he's like, leave me alone, I have to do this myself. So she meets Simon, who's a pretty hot movie star. So a love triangle ensues, and maybe by the end of the day, the West Coast Avengers are formed. The West Coast Avengers are a big team. A lot of people have served on it, and Wonder Man is a founding member, as is Hawkeye, by the way, but I think Hawkeye might be going the way of Thunderbolts. But Hawkeye's got options. Both Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, both Hawkeyes have been part of the West Coast Avengers. But anyway, Wonder Man, Vision, and Scarlet Witch could start the West Coast Avengers, as Vision and Scarlet Witch did both quickly join the team after it was founded. So it's pretty nice. So what do you think? What do you think about a Wonder Man series? What would you like to see happen? And do you think we'll ever get any season 2s of any of these other shows? Share your thoughts. I think Moon Knight probably is the most likely, but I don't know what's taken them so long to announce it. All right, share your thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.